because I've had time off, I'm a very creative. And so creative things would come into my head. And normally when that happens, Mark knows, like I would stay up all night, have my computer in hand and like get it done that night. And I can't now. Welcome to the Confident Podcast. I am Lisa Tarkington, your guide to mastering confidence and leadership. As a business and life coach, keynote speaker, and the driving force behind LEAD, I am here to help you break free from self-doubt, silence the imposter syndrome, and step into your power as the person you're meant to be. If you press play today, it's because you're ready for something bigger. Each week, I'll bring you real, raw conversations and actionable insights that will empower you to redefine your leadership, reclaim your confidence, and transform into the unstoppable force you've always known that you could be. This isn't just another podcast. It's a journey we're on together. So buckle up and let's dive into this transformation. Your next level awaits. Hey friends, welcome back to the Confident Podcast. I'm really excited to be back after taking a break for a while from everybody to step away to welcome my son into the world. So it feels good to be back better than ever. And I brought a special guest with me, my husband, Marc, who's going to be talking with us about we're going to be sharing a little bit more about our story, about why we kept the birth of our son kind of private in the beginning of my pregnancy, how we're being a little bit more open about it, but still private, kind of the ups and downs through a pregnancy, the ups and downs of, our firstborn, having a little one in the house, and how our lives have completely changed in the most beautiful way, and what confidence looks like for us now. Confidence in ourselves as parents, confidence in our careers, and just confidence in the day-to-day. So whether you're a parent or you want to be someday, or maybe you just want to see the real behind-the-scenes conversation of what that looks like, or just gaining some confidence in different areas of your life, you are in the right place. So we're going to dive in by just starting to talk about when I found out that I was pregnant. So it was exciting. It was surreal. And it was honestly deeply personal. I share a lot of my story and who I am as a person online through this podcast, through coaching, through my keynotes. And we really decided to keep this very low key for us for a variety of different reasons. So we told people in person. I didn't make a big social media announcement, neither did Marc, and we were actually debating on sharing about his birth at all. But I did eventually, once he came into the world, we made an announcement. Well, I guess we did share a little bit on the podcast because I was taking a break. But I wanted something in our lives to just be for us. I think that because I share so much with the world, I wanted to really make sure that there was just something that we could enjoy. I also didn't share a lot because I was scared of having the risk of being unavailable. Now with my job, it's a lot of, leads and conversations. And I never wanted anybody to think, oh, she's having a kid, she can't do something. And so that's why I stayed quiet for a while. And honestly, as you guys know from the podcast, I've gone through a lot of different transitions in my life in the last couple of years. I got a name change. We got married. We changed the name of my nonprofit. I've done more coaching and keynote speaking. I just felt like there were so many moving pieces in my life and transitions that I just needed to be grounded for a little bit because this was another one. And so that's really why I changed it. I think that the pregnancy was such an intense time for me. I had lots of emotions up and down, I would say. But I guess, Marc, question for you. So how did it feel to keep it private? But also how did it, what was kind of going through your mind for the first 9 months or for the 9 months of pregnancy with me?
Yeah. So first of all, thanks for having me back. I was surprised when you called. But,
called in our house.
Yep. That just going back to that text that you sent me when I was at work, that was the best text ever. I was telling everybody, obviously, because where I work, I don't see any of these people outside of work. They live all over the country. So it wasn't like a worry about me for getting rumors out or anything. But yeah, it was amazing. I was proud, actually, is kind of how I felt. Because as little as my role is, I was like, I did it. It was really kind of amazing. And then, keeping it private, I have a smaller group of people, I would say, around me. So I don't think there's anyone that like didn't know, but in my friend circle and stuff. But I liked when we'd see people and they didn't know you were pregnant. And then 7-8 months in, they'd be like, I didn't know you were pregnant. Or even better, after the baby was born, they're like, I had no idea you were pregnant. And I really kind of enjoyed that just because it was funny and interesting. And, it was nice just to have something for ourselves. But yeah, I thought the first 9 months, it was easy for me. Honestly, I was trying to be helpful and do what you needed. But I enjoyed it. And then as we got closer, the clock started ticking. Then maybe some anxiety started to creep in towards the end. We're like, wow, we're really actually going to have to do something about this. Being pregnant's fun as a husband, but, it all changes really quick after that.
Yeah. And to preface, so how I told Marc that we were pregnant is I found out in the morning, took a test. In that afternoon, I had bought Big Brother handkerchiefs for our dogs a while back. And I took them in the backyard and took a photo. And so then I told Marc, you need to call me. And so how he received it is I was on FaceTiming him. I think I was FaceTiming you. Or maybe we didn't have service very well. I can't remember. And then I sent the text.
The picture with the dogs. Yeah. And I was like, what? Oh. Then you sent another picture of the pregnancy test. And I was like, I see what's happening.
Yes. It was very, like sitting the dogs still for that photo was insane, but it was really cool to be able to do that. So I guess for me, pregnancy wasn't easy. Some people, like, since we kept it quiet, probably thought it was easy, but there was a lot of emotions. So I felt tired. I felt guilt. I felt a lot of guilt when it came to work-life balance. How was I going to be on maternity leave? Lots of wonders and fear. And honestly, at the same time of all of that, it also made me really think about what do I want to do with my life and where do I want to spend my time. So I think that was really great. I think what people always say is, oh, you're glowing, or people are like, oh, I felt awful. And I don't think I felt either of those from like one standard to another. I think I was kind of in the middle, and that was okay with me. So let's just start with birth. Okay. So 9 months, we're going through this like 9 months and 6 minutes, but now we're at the birth. So Marc, like, take us there. What was your biggest takeaway or moment during birth that you thought was like crazy?
That even the morning that your water broke, I was in no mood to go to the hospital. I was just like, no, I'm going back to bed. Let's not do this now. But
Marc didn't believe me that my water broke. Let's just put it that way.
I was like, nope, can't be. Because we were at the doctor the night before and they're like, you're nowhere close. So I was like, great, we got another week or so.
Yep.
But it was surreal is honestly the word that comes to my mind, because obviously it's never something I've done before, been a part of. So like the whole thing kind of felt like, is this real? Like, oh my goodness, I can't believe this is happening. And then honestly, you feel really useless as the male in the equation. So you just try to be as helpful as you can, but watching your wife go through that and being able to do literally nothing about it was hard, difficult, I would say. But good emotions. You're worried, but you just trust everything's going to go well, and then it did. So it was an amazing day. I had thoughts about what it'd be like, like you see in movies or on books and TV shows, but it was just kind of my own personal, like, amazing moment that is kind of hard to describe. And obviously I didn't have to do a lot. I just stood there,
like you did.
But it was just, it was like, okay, life is different.
Yeah.
Now you got to really get your stuff together, and you can't just live for yourself anymore. But yeah, I'm already ready for the next one. I'm like, here's what I'm going to do on the next time. Make it better for me, better for you. But it was awesome.
That's not happening anytime soon, just so that everybody knows that.
We'll see.
But I think it's funny because right when you were talking, I was like picturing us in the room, the delivery room, and there was not many channels that we could watch, like, of TV. And it's so early in the morning. We were there at like 6 a.m. And there was this game show channel, and like I never want to hear Who Wants to Be a Millionaire ever again. It's
classic Americana.
I finally just had to turn that off because it was just while you're going through contractions, it's like Regis Philbin's voice is playing, and I finally couldn't do it anymore.
Me just guessing out loud. I'm sure it was irritating looking back on it, but it kept my mind busy.
Yeah, that's true. I guess for me, I think one of the biggest things that like for me, like moment as a woman is you always ask for people's like, how was your experience? Tell me a little bit about yours. And people couldn't explain it to me very well. Maybe it's because I think a lot of my friends had different ones where they had all natural, or they had a C-section, or they went right to the epidural. And I had expectations of how I wanted it to go. But at the same time, I listened to a lot of people and said like, hey, if your expectations change, like be okay with that. And I think what I was proud of us as a team is ours changed midway through, and it was for the better for me mentally. And I think I'm glad that we were just like, whatever we have to do. There was no shame, no nothing. We just did what was best for our son and for me. And then I think the other thing is I always saw, like you said on TV, the ways that you can give birth, right? And I think it was really cool to experience what we did, me be able to power through that. It's a mental and physical game, but it's pretty cool. So now that Lucas is here, what are some of the emotions that have surprised you that might be different?
Obviously, still proud, that he's our little guy and we made him together. But I think what I can think of right now is what's surprising to me is like when I need a break from feeding him, changing him, trying to get him to sleep, calm him down, whatever, is even after I hand him off to you, it's like 10 minutes later, you're like, I want to go see the baby. I want to get him back. So that surprised me. I thought, being the life we had before to now, I was going to want to be like going to the gym, go ride my bike, go to the whatever. But now it's just like, how's the baby? I'm always worried about him, thinking about him. So, but I'm proud of everything he does too. Like his fake crawling, his turning over, his lifting his head. Obviously, I'm being a little excited for him as far as the milestones go, but just trying to be encouraging. But yeah, and honestly, I had no expectation about how I was going to be as a dad. I never worried about it, but I also had no idea what I was going to do. And I'm feeling pretty good about how I've done so far. There's obviously a long way to go, but, it kind of comes natural after a little bit. And it's just been amazing first little bit of life for him. What about you?
Well, I would say like the first week was when people told you that you'd be tired. I didn't actually know what that meant because I've gone through tired streaks in my life before. So that was a new aha for me. But now he's great. Like after the first week, I think we've been very blessed. Lucas is a great sleeper. I think what I have loved is kind of what you said, like how my instincts kind of just like played a part in a lot of things. And people would tell me that, but I didn't really understand that.
Right, no idea.
Yeah. And I think too, it's been cool. I think when we do family walks every day. So Marc and I, Lucas and our two dogs, for as long as we could before we both had to go back to work. And most of the time we check in with each other. And that was really great. And just like watching him grow, watching his little personality. I remember when the pediatrician was like, is he cooing and stuff? And we both looked at each other, we're like, no. And then literally, I think it was the next day, his voice, he found his voice. And it was just like a really good moment of being like, oh, this is like what's next, right? Like finding those moments. And I will say, like, I have heard from a lot of people that have watched us with our son say, you have a very involved husband and very like...
Which is surprising to me.
Yeah, but you are. And I think that one of the things that I love is that we've tag teamed a lot, right? Like I can still get my workouts in. I'm still have coaching clients, like things like that. And I was able to still have that part of me while still being a mom and just made everything kind of work really well. So I would say emotionally, I remember crying in the beginning, being like, he's so wonderful. And I still think that, but I'm just not, I don't cry as much about it. And I think too, my emotions are just, like you said, I think I'm proud, and I'm proud of us for the mindset that we've really worked on.
Yeah, we haven't let like anxiety take over in any situations, which is, I thought we'd have some of that for sure.
Yeah.
Like, what do we do?
Well, and you make a great point. I remember Mark and I, Lucas was 2 weeks or 3 weeks old. We took him to the farmer's market to start the summer. And then we were going to take Lucas and our dogs for a long walk. And so that was going to be a long time out with the baby, feeding, diaper, all the things. And we're in the middle of our walk, and he just starts, getting fussy. And I could tell that he was hungry, needed his diaper changed. And I just said to Mark, like, let's turn around. And Mark didn't hear me, which I guess is like a saving grace that you didn't. But I just like took a deep breath in, and I was like, no, like, let's enjoy this. So we just stopped for a minute and did what we had to do, and we kept going. And I think that was a moment for me of like, okay, we can do this.
You know what you're doing.
He's not going to be perfect all the time. Like we weren't expecting that, but we have to like push through the anxiety moments as well, which has been really great. So I guess like transitioning to like next steps. So pregnancy, birth, having him, and now we're trying to balance it. So I think, we didn't know what we were going to be able to, how we were going to be able to balance work and life and everything. And during the first 2 months of our son's life, we were both still busy in our careers. Mark was taking a test to move up in his career, and I was taking on more coaching clients, preparing for some keynotes coming up, and all great things that we were super, super proud of. But during that time, we had to learn how to manage a baby. It's not like he was at daycare yet, and we were kind of stretched some days, or we'd have to look at each other and be like, what's on your schedule today? And so during that time, what helped you stay focused? And what helped you, do you feel like, not totally lose it? Or you can share like, when were you overwhelmed and how did you handle that? Yeah.
Just going right to the end there, I don't think I felt overwhelmed since that first week, like you were saying, because, we had no idea what we were doing. But for now, with even career, you had your reasons of why you did it before, but now you know why you really have to do it. So you're not thinking about just a paycheck anymore. So like, yeah, I'm studying, I'm trying to take this test, which I don't want to do, but you got to do it because you've got a family to support. And so that made things really clear. And it's nice when you have a clear objective, whatever you're working towards, a goal, whatever. It's like, if you know why you're doing it, it becomes really easy. And then since then, though, I'm trying to think, I haven't really felt overwhelmed much with him, honestly. What was the other question?
Well, like, how did you stay focused, or like not lose it during the moments where like, we had busy days. It wasn't like we were just chilling in our pajamas all day, which would have been lovely.
Yeah. Like I said earlier, try to be supportive and get what your partner needs for however long or short that takes, and try to be useful. But at the same time, too, it's about asking for what you need personally, like with your partner, and be like, I need 5 minutes here. I just need to go do this. And that's been good because we've been a great team doing it. It's never been like, well, no, I can't. It's been like, yep, I got it. So we work really well together as a team. Obviously, with the first few months when we're both home was easier. But, now that my career's back online, it's going to be a little different than those first few months. But, we're still just going to give it our best. And I'm always going to try to be as useful as I can, do anything I can to help you. And I know you'll do the same for me.
Yeah, for sure.
What about you? What do you think?
I think for me, well, I'm very structured and disciplined. And so I think like I had to take what I do already in my career, and I would make to-do list for the day, or if something came into my mind of like, I eventually have to get that done, I just put it in my notes app of like, here's what I have to get done. So I actually used a lot of things I use at work into our life, even right now, which I won't lie, for a second there, I felt pretty bad about that, because I was like, am I treating my kid as a work there was that moment.
Another task.
Yeah. And then I was like, no, because I really wanted, when I was with him, to be fully there. Yes, Lucas has gone to meetings with me. He's, when he's feeding or when he's doing something, I'm actually practicing my keynote because that's the only time sometimes. But there's other moments, like even this morning before we came to record, I had time and I was like, well, let me hold him while he falls asleep. Like I love contact naps. I love them. But I'm also trying to manage other things. And to your point, I think you make a great point when you were like, your focus changes. And I think even the other day, Mark and I were we were at a football field doing like stadium stairs, bleachers, yes, and running. And I wanted to be done. And I just kept saying like, no, I want to be healthy so that I can be around for things. I want to be healthy so that when we go home after this, like I can be present and things. So I just feel like, to your point, like I'm being very more clear about things and I'm also doing better with my time. Like I thought I was good, but now I'm like, no, you literally have to do this now because you can't do it later. And it's been kind of probably nice in a way for
clarity,
me. It's very,
because sometimes you have tough motivation. Like, why am I doing this?
Yes.
But I don't have that with obviously our family. So it's been nice.
Yeah, it's been awesome. It's been really good for me. Taking care of your health isn't always easy, but it should at least be simple. For me, the journey to feeling my best has always been about small, sustainable habits. That's why for the last 4 years, I've made AG1 part of my daily routine. Actually, it's part of my whole household's routine every morning. It's just 1 scoop mixed with cold water every morning, no exceptions. It's my go-to for a simple yet powerful way to support my health and feel energized for the day ahead. With AG1, I'm covering my daily dose of essential vitamins, minerals, and pre and probiotics, and much, much more. And it's all in 1 step. So I have noticed for myself, I have much better improved digestion, I'm in a healthier mood, and I have more energy. And let's be honest, when I feel my best, I can give my best to my friends and my family and work. And that's why AG1 is not just a product I use, but it's part of my commitment to self-love and taking care of myself. What I love most about it is how easy it is to stay consistent. If I'm at home, I mix a scoop of AG1 into my water first thing in the morning, especially before coffee. And if I'm on the go, I have my individual travel packs ensured I never miss a day. It's just a small benefit that adds up to big benefits, and that's why I just love AG1. So with this new year, try AG1 for yourself. It's the perfect time to start a new healthy habit. As a special offer, AG1 is giving new subscribers a free $76 gift when you sign up. That includes a welcome kit, a year's supply of vitamin D3 and K2, and 5 free travel packs in your first box. So visit drinkag1.com/theconfident to grab yours today. That's drinkag1.com/theconfident. Let's start this year off a little bit healthier. So again, like I'm going to kind of go back to our walks. So we used to do a lot of check-ins with each other of like, okay, like, how are you feeling with this milestone or like something like that? And so I guess, what does confidence look like for you? Or was there a moment where you were like, we got this?
Yeah. I'm thinking, like when you said that earlier about the check-ins, I can remember the walks that we did it on. I remember one was maybe just a couple days or maybe it was a week. And I'm like, so how do you think we're doing? And then the next time, it was different. Obviously, the first time we're like, I think we're doing good, Then a couple weeks later, after we were kind of getting the hang of the swing of things, we were both a lot more confident. And I think for me, after that first week when I had a fussy baby and I didn't know what to do, I figured it out though. And then I'm like, okay, I know how to get this child to calm down or take care of this problem or this problem. And being the newborn is obviously really nice because there's only like 3 things it can be. And so it doesn't like take a lot of thinking, but being able to do that and get them back to bed or calm them down, clean them up, it's that little stuff for me just slowly builds confidence. And I'm like, I know I can do this. I am their father. This is my job. I can do it. So it's been nice. And then having you to check in with and hearing your thoughts, I think you and I are pretty much on the same page most of the time. And that's been nice, not having to worry if I'm not doing something or I'm missing something in regards to you. So always having that communication is super important. And I'm just really grateful for it. But how about you? What sort of milestones and confidence have you felt?
Well, I would say this is going to sound funny, but like I have had to change diapers my whole life. Like with
I
my
never had.
nieces. Yeah, you never have like not my nieces, my nephews, and just like babysitting. But like the confidence you have to just like rip through getting through diaper changes is so much quicker than I think I overanalyze. Like, okay, get everything out. Like now it's like it's just so different. And, we teach a lot on this podcast about like confidence is a skill set. You build it over time, like riding a bike or anything like that. I feel like that was just like little things, like even like feeding him, understanding his cues, knowing when he's just like, you know what, I just want to be held right now. Like I think we're just doing really good at like picking up on cues. And I share that with the confidence piece because it's like, you have to build that. It's okay if you don't know it right away, but it's like, okay, try this. We'll try this, and we've done really well with routine too, just trying to make sure that there is as much of a routine as possible that works for us, works for our kid. Everybody's different, but that seems to work for us. So I would say like when I felt like we've got this is when we do our check-ins and we talk through it and we're like, okay, yeah, we're figuring this out. We're taking care of this. And I think one of the things that we've even talked about, I remember going on a walk one day and I was just kind of feeling like judgment from other people, like because everybody has a judgment on how you should do things. And being able to express how I was feeling and then kind of just have someone listen and then just say like, well, people are going to say that stuff, but like we're, sometimes people don't even mean it. They just like passively say something and you're like, well, that hit, so that was one thing that really came up for me.
Yeah, just sometimes listening is all I need to do. Like as a man, I'm always in fix-it mode. And I've learned that sometimes it's just like, there's nothing you need to do here. Just listen and acknowledge. And so that's been important to remember.
Yeah, especially during this time, yes.
Yeah.
So, okay, so let's kind of do like something different here where we like share like what are things that have helped and what has things that did not help? And this is from like other people. So what do you think was most helpful that people have shared with you? And then what was not helpful that people shared? You can do it like during pregnancy or even after, like during these last couple of months.
Yeah, just obviously through the baby being born is where my role actually seems to be involved more. But having people to talk to has been really nice. I have brothers that have all had kids before me, and they've got young nieces and nephews. So getting their input on stuff, this is going to sound kind of strange, but like what's been kind of helpful for me is Instagram videos. Not all of them, but some are actually like, oh, that worked. Like burping them and get him to go gas, tummy time exercises. That's great. But the ones that don't work are like rub their cheeks and they'll fall asleep. That doesn't work. So you got to be discerning with the Instagram videos. But it's been nice to learn all that stuff, honestly, because I had no clue before. It's not something I ever thought about. But having family, having friends, great resource. My parents, your parents, they have tons of knowledge about that stuff. But then also in the same token, some things people say aren't helpful, like you're holding that bottle wrong or you're feeding them too much or, like I got the sun on them for 2 seconds and they're like, oh my God, you can't put your baby in the sun. Like that stuff's not really helpful. But you figure out what works for you, and we all have guts that tell us yes or no. And I trust my gut. I trust your gut. And that's the way we're going to just keep going.
Yeah. So. Yeah, that's very true. I remember those moments for you.
Mm-hmm. What about you? What's been the most helpful or least helpful?
I would say, so I'm going to start with helpful, kind of like what you did. I would say I knew we had a great support system based off of just like our whole lives, right? Like we've both had support systems, but the first like month and a half of Lucas's life, we had food dropped off for us almost every day. We had people stopping by to greet him and meet him and hold him. And I know that people had offered that beforehand, but to see it come alive and see who came and even the people that couldn't come, right? Like not everybody lives close. Not everybody could do that thing. It's the check-ins of how are you doing and things like that. And I think the biggest thing is someone said to me, like, I want to know how you're doing. Everybody always asks how the baby's doing, but like, how are you doing? And that really struck me as something like I needed to do better at, right? And like, how do I show up for people? So it was really great. Like, I would also say what was helpful for me probably in the first couple of months, actually it still is I start my mornings usually with showers. I usually like would be a person that I would do night showers or something like that. But like starting my morning off with just like me time, even if that's in the shower, has been huge for us or huge for me. And then what's been helpful is getting my breaks in, whether that's, Marc was studying or I was working out or I was practicing a keynote or having a coaching client. I still got those moments to be me. I think was really helpful. But I think what was not helpful was, to your point, kind of the judgment that people have. I think when I was pregnant, I think what was hard for me is people just kept saying like, well, just wait. Yeah. Just wait.
Oh, and you're going to hate it.
Yes. And like, or wait till they don't sleep. And so then it causes you all this anxiety. And I know some of them, mind you, some of them were telling me that to not have high expectations. But I also realized like what Marc and I did was we really went in with the mindset of like, chill. Like, we'll figure it out. We don't know what we don't know. So I think when people were projecting was really tough for us because there was a lot of people I actually didn't ask for advice from, but gave me advice, right?
That's common.
And then I think then it was really helpful when I did ask for advice. And then I was like, I'm asking you specifically, what do you think of that, right? And so I've had to learn to not give advice now with new moms that have like come to me for things, or like when I see someone pregnant, it's more like I have to wait for them to come and then be like helpful and things like that. So I've had to work through that. I think the other thing is everybody does it differently with their kids.
Yep.
And so when someone handled it a certain way, tells me how to handle it, I know that they mean well. And sometimes it's super helpful. And other times I'm like, but are you telling me I'm doing it wrong? And then all these like negative thoughts can kind of come into play. Yeah. Not their intention, totally not their intention. But like, then I'm thinking in my head, oh, they're judging me. Oh, did my kid sleep too long? Oh, did I feed him wrong? Is he eating too much? Like, right. Like all of these little things came into my head. And so those were the gut checks that I think I had to have with Marc a little bit on that.
Because we know we do a good job. At the end of the day, we're like, well, the way we were doing it was working. So let's go back to what we were doing. Let's go back
to that.
Which has been nice.
So that's been good. And so kind of going off of that, what was easy for you and what was hard? Was there anything different there?
Easy. I'm, a man who likes simple tasks and just check them off the list. So changing diapers, feeding them, get them down for a nap, playing a little bit. That's all been easy, obviously. Like I might play with them a little too much at this age, but we'll get there. But it's been kind of easy just to go through that stuff. But like the hard stuff is trying to empathize with you, first of all, with like what you're going through, what you're thinking, even back to pregnancy. That was something I had to be very aware of. But also what he's thinking of, like what are his needs? I honestly never quite sure. I mean, you end up figuring it out, but that's been challenging, but it's been fun to figure out. And I'm looking forward to it getting more and more complicated as he gets older.
Yes.
But honestly, I don't want to sound like, I don't know, but it's been kind of easy for me. I'm sure I'm going to jinx myself, but
I hope you don't jinx yourself.
I've loved the whole thing. Going back to work is obviously terrible for me, but I just can't wait to come home and see you guys again.
Yeah. So. Yeah. I guess for me, what was hard has really been loving my new body, which I think that's probably where you're like, I've had to like show up for you and be aware of that. So I think kind of going back to like what people would say or what was helpful is people would be like, well, you birthed the baby, you should love your new body. It did a lot of hard things. And I totally like valid, right? Like I know that, but it's still my body changed and it's my first kid. So, and I've worked really hard to keep up with my health. And so that was a really hard thing for me to kind of back up. And then I think the other thing is because I've had time off, I'm a very creative. And so creative things would come into my head. And normally when that happens, Marc knows, like I would stay up all night, have my computer in hand and like get it done that night. And I can't now. You know, I have to choose, like, am I going to sleep because I know I have a big day tomorrow, fully blown, or how am I going to handle things like that? So I've had to do a lot better of like, okay, like, what do I need to do? How does that fit into my schedule when I have my creative moments so that I'm not forgetting about those things, but I'm still being a good mom? And then I think hard and easy is I'm so grateful that I miss my kid when he's not by me. Like, but also there's hard moments too where you're just like, I need 5 minutes.
Yep.
But then after 5 minutes, it's like, okay, I'll take him back. You know,
That's
like
surprising. I thought like how quickly I wanted to like go see him again.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I'm going to the gym for an hour. Thank goodness. But then, halfway to the gym, you're like, I wonder how he's doing. It's great.
I know.
I mean, it's great.
It's a great problem to have, I would say. Yeah. And I also love that the monitor works at the gym. Because if he is sleeping, even though I know he's in fully capable hands with my parents, your parents, who's ever watching him. And that's the other thing is we've been blessed. Like Lucas has had multiple people watch him since birth. Like I did not think that was going to be a thing. I thought it would just be our parents. But because of the dynamic of our careers and stuff, we've had to have a lot of people and just like, hey, can you come over for an hour? Can you come over for 2 hours? And it's been really cool to have that rally of a community as well.
We've got a great group of people to support us, which is a blessing.
Yeah, it makes it easier. It makes it easier for sure. So, Marc, kind of to end, is there anything else you would say, or do you feel like you've hit all of the points that you'd want to share with our audience today?
I don't know. I guess like trying to go then now to now perspective is, it seems like there's a lot out there that wants to scare people from getting to be parents, especially when you're young, and no judgment on that. But like my whole 20s, this was not anything I thought I could ever do. And now that I'm doing it, it's like, well, what was I so afraid of? It's just, you're almost like a little upset about it. You're like, well, why did they, like a family will ruin your life. Like, why did they tell us that in high school? That wasn't true. But it's just been amazing to watch you, obviously, go from the beginning of birth through pregnancy, a beautiful delivery, and then through the first few months of his life has just been inspiring just to watch you do it, how natural you were at it, how good you were at certain things. And then to be a part of it as the husband has just been incredible. It's not something you can picture beforehand. It's all just so grateful for everything we've had, even the struggles, which have been few, but I think that kind of covers it. If I think of something else, I'll throw it back at you. But.
No, I think that's a great way to end it. And thank you for that. And I think it's been amazing to have a team. I've told a lot of people, like, it's just been amazing to have a support. I have a supportive husband, supportive group of people in my life. I have great friends. And so if anything, like, find your support systems, find the things, I am blessed to have a husband, but if someone doesn't and they're having a kid, like, find support. There are people that want to help. They just need to know how to help, right? And I think that's the other thing is we've just, like you said earlier, we've been vocal about that. And so it's been really cool to watch you become a dad too. And it's so funny, even this morning we were like getting ready and Marc was holding Lucas and Lucas was just staring up at his dad. And it was just like, those are the moments where I'm like, he loves his dad. And I love that so much. And our dogs are doing well, for anybody that's wondering if you have pets. Ours love him.
Yep.
Wish that, mom would spend a little bit more time with them, but we're working on that. So thanks.
They've made a good adjustment.
They have. They've been good. So thanks for doing this with me. And as we kind of like go into something brand new for ourselves, I think that also you guys are noticing that the podcast is going to be brand new for me too. I'm going to continue to bring on leaders, strategic partners, share my story and all of these things because I'm really happy to be back. I've missed this a lot, but I also am very proud of myself for stepping away for as long as I did because that part of my life stretched me, probably brought new perspectives in. But I've also had a lot of new coaching and leadership programs and things that I did during maternity leave and did during my time off that I'm excited to bring to you guys. So if this episode resonates with you, as a new parent or someone navigating a new season, like, please let me know. I'd love to hear from you, or please share this with someone. And I am taking on some new coaching clients now that I am back. So if you have been thinking about it and waiting, go to the links below in the description. And there is a free consultation that I'm doing for people. It's 30 minutes. It's free to learn about one-on-one coaching, because I really want to be in this new era of my life supporting even more people. So as I say at the end of every podcast, continue to spread love and kindness to everybody that you meet, and have a great day. Thank you for joining me on this episode of the Confident Podcast. If today's episode resonated with you, head over to leadconfidently.org for today's show notes along with discounts to our services. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, leave a review, and follow us on Instagram and YouTube at The Confident Podcast. Your feedback means the world to me, and it helps more people discover the show. And hey, if you're feeling inspired to dive deeper, let's connect. You can find me on Instagram at Lisa Tarkington Official. Drop me a message and let's explore how I can support your journey to confidence and leadership. Remember, you have the power to choose confidence every single day. Keep showing up, keep striving, and keep believing in your potential. I'm cheering you on, and I'll see you next time.